Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Tuesday, July the 12th. Race number 10 at Parx, graded stakes action on the turf. It's the grade 3 Dr. James Penny Memorial. We're going a mile and a 16th for fillies and mares, and let's take a peek at this field. Princess Grace going to look to try to get back on the beam. The number 3, disappointed somewhat as the second choice last time out in the grade 3 Eatontown, but you know when she's on her best game, she's very, very good. She won this race last year.
Yeah, she was off the layoff last time. I don't know what was going on there, Dan. She just got a terrible ride in that race. Not that she, ran well anyway. Maybe she just wasn't sharp, but that was not a good ride that she got. I'm going to expect Florent to be maybe a little more aggressive with her in this race, Dan. She's the favorite. I do think she's the horse to beat. Interesting new face right to her outside.
Scan the QR code for Race of the Day access on your mobile device, and we'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. I agree that Giroux's going to likely have Princess Grace closer to the pace after what happened last time, where Mike Smith just tried to wrangle this horse back behind a slow pace. But if Love in the Air breaks, and that's an if, considering what happened last time out at Penn National, I think she has to try to make the lead from the rail.
Yeah, she'll probably go from the inside. I mean, it's not like she's a big blazer, Dan. There's not a ton of speed from this horse, but I guess having the rail and assuming a clean start, she'll go forward in this race. And then we'll see if it makes a difference, because to me, she's a horse who has to improve. She's very lightly raced, but she has to improve to beat this field.
Excellent points, all of those. Very lightly raced. I think she's capable of improvement. She's winless on turf. Her last race was at Penn National. It was her stakes debut against fellow Penn breds. She was the heavy favorite in the Leafard, and she, A, didn't break very well, couldn't get to the front in a race where the pace was very slow, and she eventually got wired, and B, that turf course was just softer than soft. If it was anything other than Penn Mile Day, they probably would have run that race on the dirt.
Yeah, that's very true. She had enough excuses last time, I suppose, for them to come right back. At the end of the day, this is a way tougher field than that one. And she's run okay in some of her turf starts. Certainly that race last time, maybe it was even a step in the right direction for her, Dan. But again, I just feel like she has to improve again.
It's been almost 4 years since the number 2 Flash and Dynamite raced on the turf. She is 0 for 6 lifetime on the surface, reclaimed by Mike Moore out of her most recent start, a dominant victory on the main track at Parx. She's a really honest mare. She's won 13 times. I think she's better on the main.
Yeah, me too. Listen, it's been a really long time since we've seen her on the grass, and she's obviously a better horse now than she was then, but her turf form back in the day was not good.
Princess Grace had a very good season in 2021. Not only did she win the Dr. Penny Memorial off the layoff, she was a graded stakes winner at Kentucky Downs as well, and she just had a very difficult trip in the Matriarch to complete her season. Now, Michael Stidham was going to aim her for the new Pegasus World Cup filly and mare turf. She came up with a jaw abscess that required a lot of time off. And when I talked to Stidham earlier this week, he said nothing went right in that Eatontown. Giroux was named to ride. The flight got delayed. He went to Mike Smith. He told Mike, who was unfamiliar with the horse, she could be a little bit aggressive coming out of the gate. And Mike, I think, took that to heart and really wrangled her back off the pace. And she didn't run well, but she had plenty of excuses.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I guess that's the biggest disappointment is that she just didn't really fire at all in that race. But man, she just really never had a fair chance in there. They were just crawling on the lead in that race. And even as they got out of that first turn where you could tell they were walking, Smith just wrangled this horse. He wouldn't let her move forward in that race. By the time they got to the stretch, she had enough and she was all done in there. I'm willing to give her a pass for it, Dan, just because I didn't like the trip she got. She had a big excuse, as you mentioned, the Matriarch before the layoff. She even had an excuse 3 starts back in the Goldacova when they sent her and she got hooked on a pretty solid pace. I don't know. I still think she's pretty good. She's the horse to beat.
And of course, you can watch all of those races by clicking on the short comment in the free Formulator past performances that you get with your Race of the Day video. The 4 is Flirting Bridge. This is the interesting new face that Mike was talking about in the opener. She is a filly that began her career overseas. She's only raced once in North America for trainer Brendan Walsh. That was a super impressive first level allowance win at Churchill Downs. I mean, like many European horses, she didn't break very well. She was last. She swept about 6 wide into the parking lot and then just ran by those horses with a very, very exciting turn of foot.
That was a very impressive win. You should go and check it out if you haven't seen it. She did, as you said, she didn't break great in there, but there was never a point in that race where she wasn't traveling really strongly. came very wide to the stretch and just flat overpowered that field. The runner-up has since come back to win. I don't know. I liked what I saw from her. I didn't love her European form. She ran really, really well first time for this trainer.
The 5 Classic Lady has several things going for her for trainer Christophe Clement, a very consistent New York bred in excellent form with good tactical speed, and Joel Rosario will retain the mount after this performance at Mount Vernon. This is her first start off a 5+ month layoff. She was a little bit fresh, but Rosario did the right thing. There wasn't a ton of pace in this race. She makes the lead, and she battles hard all the way to the wire to lose by a dirty nose. If no one wants the lead, Rosario could easily take it with Classic Lady.
Yeah, they've done that with her before. Either way, she's a very tactical kind of horse. She doesn't need the lead to run a good race, but if it's there for her, she'll take it. And she did run fine in that race. She's been a really good horse for a really long time, very consistent, can get any kind of a trip in a race. She's certainly a dangerous horse in here.
Sweet Wilhelmina, the number 6, is entered for main track only. Will only run if this race is washed off of the turf. So we'll move to the 7 Fed Policy. And this is a mare that was a big price last time out, an allowance race at Monmouth. A little bit of trouble, but didn't do much running. Probably has to run the race of her career.
Yeah, they found a really, really tough spot for her here. Her overall turf form, it just doesn't make her competitive against horses like this.
Runaway Rumor began her career with a little bit of buzz, and why not? She won her first 3 starts, including the Wild Applause going a mile at Belmont. And while she's run okay in several subsequent races, she hasn't really gotten back to that level just yet. Now, 2 back off the layoff, she ran in the Beaugay, she ran into Rougier. Last time out in the Mount Vernon, I don't know, maybe you can argue she was compromised by a lack of pace and a wide trip, but I didn't think she particularly ran very well.
Yeah, I didn't either. And the winner of that race, came from off of it a little bit to get up. This horse just didn't really fire in there. I don't know. I'm with you. I was a big fan of hers last year. And even though, she sort of ended it on a losing streak there in a bunch of stakes races, she ran pretty well in some of those spots, and they were tough spots too. I don't like either of her starts so far as a 4-year-old, and I hope she can turn it around though, because I do think she's pretty good.
The 9 is Tick, 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 Boom. And at first glance, you look at her record and you say, well, she's 1 for 17. The only win came on a wet dirt track. Maybe she's not good enough to win this race, but she does have some good form at Parx, including a race last time out that we're going to take a look at. This is over a wet turf course going a mile and a 16th, and she was out sprinted a bit early, but she sat in the second flight off the rail. She gets to the outside, and she kind of just grinds it out to run second at a huge price. She was 34 to 1, and she gets outfinished by the odds-on favorite. I think that this might be the kind of filly that's tactical enough where she can work out a good trip despite the outside post. Likely not as good enough as the 3 on her best day, maybe not be as promising as the 4, but maybe can spice up your single race exotics.
Yeah, maybe she can get a piece of it. I mean, if nothing else, that race we just watched was probably the best race she's ever run. And High Opinion's a pretty nice horse. It doesn't get any easier for this horse in this race. They tried this race last year, and she was just no match for Princess Grace. Maybe she's a lot better now because she's going to have to be.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the race of the day, stakes preview, Spa Babies, Boy Saratoga Del Mar right around the corner, all the access on DRFTV. Top pick time for the Tuesday race of the day. I want to see if Flirting Bridge is for real. I'm hoping she could break out of the gate and stay a little bit closer because there's a chance this pace doesn't heat up for her, but I was kind of wowed by her North American debut.
I was too. I'll be interested to see how they bet it, Dan. If they bet it along the morning line and this horse is 9 to 2, I'd probably make a pretty strong argument that you should probably bet her and just see if she's this good. I thought that she would take a lot of money in here. And I'm just happy to give Princess Grace a chance to rebound. I really don't like the ride she got last time.
Well, she certainly deserves another chance based on her overall body of work, based on the trip and pace scenario that she was up against last time out. And I expect her to be forwardly placed with Giroux this time on her back. 3, 4, 5, 9 for Mike, 4, 3, 9, 1 for me. It's the Grade 3 Dr. Penny Memorial at Parx, the Tuesday race of the day. Good luck.